Hello friends, welcome back to our little coffee club. This is the second time that I'm recording this clip. You guys will see a little bit later on what it is that happened, but I kind of messed up the first clip. As a matter of fact, the rest of this video was recorded a whole entire different day. But today I am going to record the first clip over again. And in a few minutes, we're going to brew this coffee. You see it's already open because like I said, the rest of this video was recorded a different day. But in a few minutes, we're gonna make a pour over with this. You guys are going to hear me talk about this bag of coffee and where it is that it came from. Also, as you can see, I already received the coffee from SCA. So after reviewing these two coffees, we will open the SCA and review it here on the channel with you guys. One last thing as to the coffees, I wanna report back as to this one. I already finished it. But this is the Ethiopian from Good Brothers that we reviewed last time. And I have to say that, the way I brewed it on my review is not, I didn't get the best of it. Okay, I did not get the best of this coffee. As I dialed it in, I found this coffee to work quite a bit different than most coffees. This was an outlier. This was just worked different. This coffee here, I had to brew fast and grind it quite coarse in order to get the best out of it. And the way I brewed it on the review, it was fine and it was a great cup. But I have to say, if you brew it faster, you grind it coarser, you still want the water to be quite hot. So my best brew out of this coffee came from the April brewer. It brewed in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And I ground it at 55, that is quite coarse on the niche duo. Now by doing all of that and getting that fast extraction, this coffee got sweeter. Usually that's not the case. Usually when I do that, the brightness and acidity is what comes up, not the sweetness. In this case, this was an outlier, it just worked different. This one became sweeter, juicier, and just overall a more enjoyable cup. I liked it like that better. It wasn't quite as punchy, so you lose on some of that, but I think there's more to gain than what you lose. This is a very lovely coffee. As a matter of fact, I froze some of it, and my intention is to just pick the best of all of these coffees here, and one of them move forward to our end of the year battle. So if nothing beats this one, then this is already frozen and it's gonna move forward. But we'll see what I get from SCA and what I get from this one today. You guys will see. So like I said, I recorded all of that a few days ago, but the first clip, I messed it up. You'll see why later. I can't wait to get into this coffee either. This coffee, you'll see in a minute. You'll see in a minute where it is that that coffee came from, and you'll see the tasting notes. There's the whole reason why I bought it. Okay, so that brings us up to pretty much up to date as to all of our coffees that we have up here and what's going on. Now, today, before we go to the other counter, I do want to show you guys finally the entire clip of what happened when I finally met Andrea Dolegna. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I'll put it here, but that is the real Mr. Pesado. I want to show you guys the whole entire clip. Roll the tape.
So, how are you?
Actually, I'm here with Mr. Pesado.
Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Pesado, please make me the tamping station.
Done.
Oh, check it out. I got the tamping station.
Got it.
Now I'm gonna have to get this one.
You there. So, we made a tamping station. It's silicone and metal. That's for your VDD tool.
Absolutely.
Slide it back in there. This is for your handle. You can fit the bottomless, you can fit the double, you can fit all kind of handles. So if you got a Breville, if you got a 53 mil, 58 mil, they all fit in there. This is for your tamper, this is for your
I have both of those.
Dosing cap, or you can also fit, if you don't have a dosing cap, you can fit your gravity distributor in there.
Yeah.
So everything just fits nice
Absolutely.
and neat on your bench. It's got a little fit, so it doesn't scratch the bench.
Okay.
Because this is metal.
Okay.
And if you're left-handed, you can actually unscrew these two and screw them around the other way. So if it doesn't fit the way it is, you can swap that around. So it's kind of like little modular.
I also understand that the little cap here and this piece, you can interchange them?
100%. So look, if you have this and you wanted to change it for some reason, you change machine or you buy another handle or you fall in love with the new look, all you need to do is just take this one out.
There you go.
And put the new one in.
Okay, there you see it, guys. If you like the iris or you like the white one, the metal look.
This is our new color. It's called Dusk, and this is a honeycomb grill of aluminium filled up with epoxy resin.
Wow.
Yeah,
very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And then, you know, we still got all our wooden range. This is called Raya. This is our Iris.
That's my favorite.
This is our Riga. And believe it or not, this is the same wood.
Okay.
This is the most sustainable wood on the planet.
Okay.
It grows all over from Siberia to Alaska. It's the fastest growing plant and it takes the least amount of water to grow. And all we do with this one, we actually stain it to achieve different color combinations.
Okay.
And then we glue it together. So you got a sustainable product and a product that is very resilient to water, heat, however you like it. When you put wood into a coffee machine, you expose it to humidity, to heat, and it's likely to pull and to crack. But when you layer it like that, your chances of that cracking are a lot thinner.
Yeah, it's beautiful products.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
You guys are a regular on my channel. Mr. Pesado.
Here I am. Nice to meet you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the show.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This was a highlight for me.
Nice.
Nice. Wow, that's awesome. Wow, so cool. Wow. So cool. He spent the time to like talk to me and all of that and explain the products. Man. All right, Mr. Pesado. All right. You're a regular on the channel, so that's awesome. All right, so as you guys saw there, you know, the gentleman was super nice guy. He took the time to chat, show me his products. He, you know, gave me enough time to record everything that I wanted to record. But as you could see, he was just trying to sell me on the tamping station that they already make. So I explained to him that what I'm looking for is like made out of wood with the same kind of wood that they use for the iris tools. You guys have seen my tamper and the WDT tool that I have from Pesado. But I would love for them to make a tamping station out of that wood. But he explained to me that, you know, they just don't have that set up in a factory where they could reproduce that. And not to say that they won't do it at some time, but as of now, it's not a thing. So guys, we're gonna have to look for another option. But yeah, the gentleman is you know, really nice guy. You know, you guys know how I love the Pesado tools. There's like my favorite looking tools. They're just beautiful, I do have to say. So another clip that I wanted to finally get around to showing you guys is when I tried my very first shot from the Meticulous. You know, this machine, everybody's waiting for this espresso machine. The Meticulous is a like automated lever style machine. And there's a lot of hype around this machine. I finally got to try a shot from it. And it was made by Emily Bryant. So Emily Bryant is a personality in the coffee industry. She's very well known. She is a latte art champion. And she's been doing a lot of work with Meticulous. She was working the booth. Now, unfortunately, the shot that I got to try, it was not hot. It was not hot, but I could still taste, you know, the flavor profile was very similar to what I got from the Flair crew. And as a matter of fact, everyone at the show was pulling like light roast coffees. I know, at least no one I ran into was doing anything with like a more developed roast. Everything was like that new school, new style, light roast coffees. And the one from the, unfortunately, like I said, the one from the Meticulous was cold, but you know, the flavor of the coffee was good. But I have to say, the one from the Flair, I liked more because they made it right in the spot for us. It was fresh and just done and hot, and it was just better. I finally did get to see the machine up close, and I have to say that it looks very well made. It looks very promising. That booth was like packed with people. It was very busy. And I got to take a picture with Emily and chat for a few minutes, and she's a wonderful person. I got to thank her for that shot of espresso. But yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing people making videos as to this machine. I can't wait to see people get their hands on it and see if it lives up to the hype. So that being said, I wanted to also show you guys the best espresso shot that I had at the whole entire show. So it's not a big surprise that it came from a Slayer machine, right? It was Jonathan Gagne. He was working a Slayer single group. And again, as you know, beautiful person, what a nice gentleman. so kind, took the time to chat for a little bit, took a picture with me, and he pulled my favorite straight espresso at the whole show. Not a big surprise, right, that it came from a Slayer. You guys know how I love them Slayer shots. I think just the fact that, you know, it has that long pre-infusion and a chance to extract more. Again, the coffee just was sweeter than the other ones. And it was equally light of a roast as everything else that everyone else was doing. So the coffee, the shot he was pulling was this here. I just tried it straight off of the Slayer single group. It did not disappoint. But you know, just the fact that it brewed a bit longer, it just works. It just works, at least for what I like. I found it to be the best espresso shot at the show. And why wouldn't it come from Jonathan Gagne? I mean, he's a scientist. He should know what he's doing. He's done a lot of work in the whole coffee field. He's written books and just published articles. He's done a lot. He knows what he's doing. And it was not a big surprise to me that he pulled my favorite shot at the show. So, okay, I wanted to really cover all of that stuff. I hope I didn't forget anything as of me recording this opening clip, because if not, there could be some things that I talk about later that don't make a lot of sense because I didn't mention them now. But it is what it is, guys. If you see that I made a mistake or that I didn't explain something, go ahead, ask me in the comments. I answer everyone. You'll get an answer from me for sure. And other than that, you know, today right now, after I finish this clip, I'm gonna record what I meant to record that day, which I was gonna record 2 videos. It just didn't happen. But I'm gonna record, you know, opening this bag and making this espresso. I'm pumped up for this. I can't wait to try it. But anyway, you guys will see that next week. For now, let's take it over to the other counter and I'll show you guys the rest of what I recorded the other day. We'll open this bag and I'll give you my review of it. All right, so we're all set up here to do a pour over of this coffee here. As you guys were able to see, you know, we have a couple of new items up here on the counter. The setup is a little bit different, just to give you guys something, you know, different to look at and, you know, change things up a little bit. So if you guys want to talk about anything in particular, you guys let me know. Again, I answer everyone in the comments, guys. And now I've been consistent with the videos for like 2 years now. Every Sunday you guys get a new video from me at 7 a.m. Eastern time. And yeah, I've been able to stay consistent. Now, the way that or one of the ways that's helped me to stay consistent is by always having a few videos recorded in the pipeline ready to go. And I like to keep around 7, 8 videos. So being that you get one every week, that means what you're watching is probably from like 2 months ago. Okay, it's something I recorded about 2 months ago. Now, the exception is the Friday videos. When you see a Friday video pop up for me, so when I put up a Friday video, it's Friday at 7 p.m. When you see a Friday video, I recorded it that same week. Those videos, I record them. They're out of sequence with the other videos because the Sunday videos, again, they're in the pipeline and I have 7, 8 videos recorded. So like 2 months worth of videos kind of getting ready. Some of them are already scheduled to be posted on YouTube. Some of them I'm editing. Some of them I just recorded and I'm just have them there on my computer. But all of this stuff is kind of in the pipeline and getting ready so that I never have to rush. That's what's kind of helped to keep this fun for me. Okay, I don't mind recording these brew sessions at all, but you guys know that editing is the part that is not a whole bunch of fun for me. And I edit the videos little by little, and that's why I have to have all these videos recorded. You guys that have been watching all the videos, you know that's how it goes. Now, Today's video, although I'm gonna record 2 videos right now, I'm gonna record this pour over and I'm gonna make espresso in a little while. I'll record everything today. But the thing is that if I were to put it all together as one video, that means that video is gonna be like an hour long, which is a bit much, even for me, which I make these long videos. But you know, I go over an hour, that's like too much. I try to keep it an hour at the most. But ideally, I wanna keep on like 35 to maybe 45 minutes. That's long enough for you guys to enjoy it, and it makes the editing process so much easier for me. So, although I'm gonna record everything now, I'm gonna edit the video in 2 parts so it becomes a lot easier for me to edit. And that's why I'm splitting this up. So, we're gonna make a pour over with this. Next week, you guys will see espresso with this coffee here. This Brazilian coffee I picked up at a coffee shop in historical downtown Winter Garden, this is an area really close to the Disney parks. We drove for about 35 minutes to get to this coffee shop where I brought this back from. And I have to say it was a great experience. That little, you know, downtown Winter Garden historical area. It's only like 5-6 blocks, but it's beautiful. It's very pretty. You have a few little clubs, restaurants, but what they had the most of was coffee shops. So that's why I went. I highly suggest that if you have time and if you are visiting the Orlando area, but again, with time, if you're there for the parks and this and that, you're not gonna drive for 35 minutes to go get coffee somewhere. If that's the case, just make it out to the Polynesian and have some of their Kona in the French press, which is, you know, a wonderful coffee and probably the best on Disney property. I already reviewed that place. I have a video here on the channel. If you wanna see that, leave me a comment below and I'll provide you with the link. But, you know, we were once again resort hopping. So we went to the different Disney resorts, and the main reason for getting out there was to go visit a buddy of mine. This buddy of mine, he's been my friend since like high school. We played basketball together, and I consider him almost like a brother. You know, a lot of these like core basketball little crew that I hung out with back in high school, I still stay in touch with all these guys, and we're like a group of brothers. I mean, we really, in those 3 years, 4 years, some of them I played with for maybe a couple years, or some maybe more than that, but you know, this little core of friends that we all used to play on the basketball team, while we made a long-lasting bond. And maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that experience and the whole Disney and the whole visit to this coffee shop and all of that. All of that's coming now, what I'm gonna record in a little while, which you guys will see next week. So join us here on the channel. There's a lot more to come. Being that I've already have ranted a whole bunch, being that I already showed you guys a bunch of clips from the show, which by the way, I've showed you most of everything I wanted to talk about, from the show with you guys. By now, I think I've touched on all of those things. If you want to hear a little bit more of something specific, let me know. I think I still want to talk a little bit more about the fellow booth. That's like the only thing that I think I'm missing. Everything I kind of touched on already. So you guys let me know if you want to hear any more of that, or whatever, our experience out there in Chicago. Oh, I wanted to talk to you guys about the coffee shops that I visited while there. And definitely that has to be a video in its own. So we'll still get to that. All right, but no more chit chatting. Let's just get a quick pour over, and then I'll guess at the tasting notes as I usually do and all that good stuff, and kind of wrap things up, at least for the first part that I have to record today. And then I'm gonna make me some espresso. I can't wait to try this, man. You know, this is one that I would not have to guess at the tasting notes because I bought it for the tasting notes. This is the most perfect tasting notes that there is for me for espresso. Okay, check this out. Okay, so it's a Brazilian. It says medium roast, and I don't mind reading this one because again, I bought it for the tasting notes. So I can't guess at them because I remember them, because this is perfect for me. Okay, it says caramel, honey, milk chocolate. Now, how perfect is that? Those are the perfect tasting notes for espresso. You know, if it had red currant on there, then it'd be the pinnacle. That would be the top of the top. It's missing that little bit of acidity up front, that little berryness up front, tartness, like the Congo Kivu. But who knows, maybe it has it and they just didn't put it on there. But if I'm missing that, and I really get what this is promising, oh my God, this is gonna be like tremendous. So come back next week for this. For now, let's go ahead and make a pour over. But for me, I'm gonna get to enjoy both in a little while. So let's go ahead and make this one. This one, I do not know what the tasting notes were. I just remember it was an African coffee, but Good Brothers only had like one clean Ethiopian that I could order. So that's what I got. And then I got this one, was the closest thing to it. I wanted to get 2 coffees from them. So this was the second one. And then I already told you guys the 2 from SCA are Ethiopians. And I want to see what the best of all of these is. And at least the Ethiopian from Good Brothers is going to move on unless one of these other 3 beats it. Okay. I don't think this is going to be great for pour over. I'll still try it and tell you guys, but I bought this specifically for espresso because those tasting notes, oh my goodness. All right, let's go ahead, open this bag, take a look at the roast level. So yeah, I've been ranting a whole bunch today, and I have a feeling already this video is gonna get to like, who knows, an hour long, and plus everything else I have to record. All right, let's get the bag open. Again, the other one ran out, so I have to open another light roast. So this one's next one in line. You guys know that the SCA coffees, you're supposed to rest them a long time anyway. So I think the fact that I'm having to wait kind of long to start those 2 coffees, I think it's gonna actually help them. So, all right, let's get this open. Okay, let's put some here on the counter and we'll take a look at the roast level. But yeah, just like what I was expecting, kind of like the other one. You know, it's a medium light. For sure, this is about as light as Good Brother goes on anything. So it's pretty much the same like the other one. Let me turn on the lights and show it to you guys. All right, here you see it. Give you a good look. I'm gonna take a picture. I'll put it here on the screen. Sometimes on the picture it looks better. And then we'll grind some of this and do our pour over. Okay, so let's start the scale and dose out our 20 grams. You know, the other day, I finally got a video where I remember I did lock the focus, but for some reason it was, the clip was out of focus. You know, you could still see what I was doing and everything, but it wasn't spot on. But I do have to say that, you know, locking the focus has, you know, made a pretty big difference, at least to me in these videos. I love it when the focus is not shifting around, moving around, and it's just locked on whatever it is I'm doing. Like right now, it should be locked right on the cup. Hopefully this time I didn't mess that up. But, you know, again, I think it was just kind of like a glitch. I don't think it was my fault. I remember locking the focus. Not a big deal, as long as you could see it. You know, again, audio is a lot more important definitely than the focus and the video part of it. Okay, so now that I have I picked all of this up, I have at 16.1, we have to go to 20. I'm gonna do my usual kind of thing. I'm just off of boiling. Let's see, I have it set at 96. I'm gonna grind at grind setting 40, and I'm gonna brew on the origami with a cone filter. Looking for a maybe 3.5 minute brew time and see what we get from this. Wow, it went way over. You know, it's kind of hard from like your very first try to get it spot on. It has happened a few times, but you know, a lot of times, even with pour overs, you might have to do, you know, at least 2 or 3 brews to get it spot on. Kind of like with espresso. You know, I had a comment from somebody just recently saying that, you know, they never used to do pour overs, but watching my videos, they kind of got inspired and started doing pour overs, that they were enjoying it a whole bunch. You know, like I told you guys, the espresso videos get a lot more views, but what I make most of the time is pour overs. I mean, I do espresso on the weekend, so it's a weekend thing, and that's when I film the videos and all of that. But you know, most of the time I do pour overs, and I have to say I enjoy just the coffee and having more of it to enjoy for longer, and not something, at least not always, something as intense, let's say intense, as espresso. Espresso is intense. It's like having a straight shot of whiskey, okay? It's pretty much the same. You know, even in whiskey, you know, from one liquor to another, you will get to taste the differences and the nuance in the liquor, and where it gives you more of that woodiness or more of the spiciness. They do change, and sometimes quite a bunch, like between bourbon and scotch, very different. If you're into that, then you know what I'm saying. If not, it's kind of like espresso, very intense. Pour overs is more like a cocktail, some kind of fruity cocktail. Okay, they're both equally wonderful, but very different. Okay, so I have my 20 grams. Again, I'm a grind size 40 on the Duo. I've been starting somewhere between 35, 40. Now, I told you guys with the other coffee, I had to go all the way to 55 to get my best brew out of it. And that Ethiopian became wonderful at 55 on the April, 3 minutes, 15 seconds with the water, maybe at 97, 96, something like that. Oh, spectacular. Let's see what we can get out of this one. So let's grind this, see if we get any retention. Tap the spout. This thing, I have to say the Duo retention has not been a thing on the Duo since I switched over to the Brew Burst. Right now, we are at 19.6. We had a little bit of retention. I'm gonna use the little plunger, this thing, and see if we get a little bit more out. Okay, I did see a little bit more come out. Let's see where we're at. 19.7, just a little bit. We might be missing like a 0.1, 0.2, maybe even 0.3, but at most 0.3, and I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna go with this. Again, the Duo continues to be a little bit messier than the Zero. It's been more under control, I do have to say. Definitely with the Brew Burst, it just behaves itself better. And being that that's what I wanted it for, it's kind of turning out perfect for me. Okay, now I'm gonna have to reposition things. I'm gonna have to move back a little bit so you guys could see the whole thing here. All right, so this angle should work. It should be okay for you guys could see the top of it. And let's start by rinsing and heating up everything, and we'll put the hot water into the cup and take it from there. Guys, I do have to say that as much as I like the Steadfast brewer, okay, because I really love using that brewer for some reason, but it is beautiful. It's a beautiful brewer, very consistent. But I have to say, if I had to just have one, I couldn't buy two brewers. It just has to be one. I think that the Origami is the perfect one. If this is the only one you're gonna have, just an Origami. Why? Because on a V60, you cannot use the cone filter or the flat bottom filter. On the Origami, you can. You can go with the cone filter, you can go with the flat bottom filter, get the best of both worlds, and I think it's just ideal. The Origami is just an ideal brewer. You don't need to use the ring. You could just set it like this. As a matter of fact, if you have a cup that's like deep enough, you can just brew right into your cup. You don't have to dirty anything. It just works. And again, since you can use the cone filter and the flat bottom, I think the Origami is ideal. If I could pick another brewer after that, I would get an AeroPress, because the AeroPress is completely different. It gives you a lot different profile, a different mouthfeel to the coffee. It gives you a whole different kind of thing that you could do with it. And it's the one and best one to travel with. So if you're gonna go on a trip, you wanna be able to do your pour overs, you wanna make coffee on the run, nothing to me beats the AeroPress. It's just great. So yeah, that's what I would get. I would get an Origami and an AeroPress and be done. But now I have like all the brewers. I have a whole bunch of different ones. As a matter of fact, I have to revisit the French press, because I bought a French press and I still haven't even, it's still in the box. you know, I meant to do videos with it and to obviously showcase that brewer as well. And I wanted to try a recipe that John had given me from way back, and I started experimenting more with the French press, but I just haven't done so. Again, it's just a lot. There's a lot of things I want to get into, and it's just, you know, I'm just some dude. I'm just some dude, guys. All right. Oh, I haven't even, okay, I got the water out of there. It's heating up the cup. Now let's fluff it up. I always like to fluff it up a little bit. Okay. So now it's reading 19.8. So we lost maybe a 0.1, maybe a 0.2, maybe a 0.2. This is definitely close enough. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the 20 grams in, 300 grams out, a 1:15 ratio. I'm looking for about 3.5 minutes. I'm not gonna do the divot today because I'm experimenting with a new pouring structure when I use this setup, where I go right into the middle and I kind of really just go in the middle for a while, and then I'll do some swirls towards the end for my first 100 grams. And you know, it's working pretty much the same thing. Is the divot necessary? You know, maybe not. Again, just experiment with your coffee, guys. Make it your way, have fun with it. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? You want to get a tasty coffee, but also you want to have some fun and experiment with your equipment. The first pour, 100 grams. But again, I'm gonna go mostly in the middle and pour slow. Let it get all the way in there. So I'm at 60, like 65. Now I'm gonna do some swirls. I'm at 97.2. Usually my first pour, which you can call a bloom, or some people wouldn't because it's just so much water. But to me, that's my bloom. I do 3 pours of 300 grams. And I usually wait, depending, somewhere around 30 to 45 seconds. Now I come in doing some circles here, some swirls, and I finish in the middle. Okay, now we're gonna go to 200, close to it. We're at 198.7. I'm gonna give it a swirl. Again, this is a good swirl because this is flowing quite fast. I don't think I'm gonna make it to my desired 3.5 minutes. So grind size 40 might be a little bit too coarse for this coffee, but we'll see how much it slows down with that nice big swirl. Okay, I'm gonna have to pour again. I'm at 1.5 minutes, and here's my last 100 grams. So I will start in the center again. So most of it is gonna go in the center. And then towards the end, some swirls, get some agitation going. Okay, I finished at 303 grams. We are 2 minutes into the process. It did slow down quite a bit. So one last swirl to flatten it out, and we'll see where we end up. Again, I wanted 3.5 minutes, and we'll see if we make it. Again, how do you choose grind size if you've never brewed that particular coffee before? Well, you're gonna have to go kind of like on experience, what's worked in the past, and try it. It might, for this coffee, might not work at all. Last time I had to go so much coarser than I would normally and brew the coffee so much faster than I would normally. Usually, the coffee's gonna have like way too much acidity and brightness when I do that. But in this case, it worked completely the opposite. It became way sweeter, juicier, and it just better cup overall. I could have it either way, but I have to say the faster one was way better overall. Look, we finished at, I'm calling it before 3 minutes. I mean, this was like 250, 255 at the most. It's still dripping a little bit, but I mean, come on, it'll drip like this for maybe another minute, and you can't count that. So I would say we finished like at 250, just under 3 minutes. For me, that is a super fast brew. But if this coffee ends up being like the other one, it might be close to the sweet spot. But for sure, I think grind size 40 is a little bit too coarse on this coffee. Look at the difference, right? The other one, I was at 55, and it still brewed for a little bit longer than this one. I was at 3 minutes, 15 seconds. With this coffee, at grind size 40, I finished in under 3 minutes. So, wow, 15 notches is a lot. So, and it still finished faster. But you know, every coffee is so different. That's why, and you get the different flavors and all of that. That's how you get into all this whole thing, you know? All right, let me get everything ready here, and I'll meet you guys at the other counter, and we'll try it, and I'll guess at the tasting notes. All right, guys, so I'm about to try the coffee, but I just noticed that on the first clip, I had the microphone hooked up incorrectly on the camera. It wasn't the camera's fault, it was totally my fault. And I'm gonna have to voice over the whole entire clip, so I'm sure that by now you already know that, but that's what happened. I had the mic hooked up incorrectly into the camera, so the audio was unusable. I could still hear what I was saying, but it's not audio that I could use for the video, so I had to voice over everything. And I was talking there for like a good 5-6 minutes. I don't know how long that was, but I'm gonna have to voice over all of that. So it's a bummer, but it is what it is. All right, so let's give it a swirl and try this coffee. Man, you would think I would have this whole thing figured out by now, but it is what it is, guys. Cheers. Wow, it's way different than the first one. I do have to say the Ethiopian was way different than this one, at least in my first impressions. Yeah, this one's, I would say there's a lot more acidity in this coffee. Even you guys saw how, well, maybe this one I have to brew longer and then it gets sweeter. Maybe it works completely the opposite as the first coffee. Man, it's funny how these coffees, they like end up being so different sometimes. Like okay, yeah, definitely this one has more acidity. Would I say citrus note? Yes, I would. I would say this has also a... It's funny, maybe this one, when I slow it down, it changes a whole bunch and it becomes fruitier. The opposite as the other coffee. But I do have to say that right now, I would say that this one does have the citrus note. Still a sweeter kind of citrus. Definitely the floral quality, the same like the other one. The aroma, it's got a good level of sweetness. I would say this one has a more delicate flavor with a higher upfront acidity. Maybe a little less sweetness than the other coffee, but I'll report back once I brew it again. For now, I'm gonna say like a sweet citrus, like some kind of orange, some kind of like we've seen before, like tangerine or mandarin or something like that, a sweeter kind of citrus. Yes, the floral quality and the aroma. Nice upfront acidity, then it rounds off to some nice level of sweetness, but I wish it was a little bit sweeter. I do. Like the first one I think is better than this one, at least with my first attempt. So I'll see once I dial it in. But for now, let's take a look at the tasting notes. Man, I can't wait to brew this. I don't know. Am I gonna keep recording now? I'm kind of a little bummed out. I do have to admit, I'm a little bummed out over the fact I'm gonna have to voice over those first 5-6 minutes of video. I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about that. But if I re-record it, it won't be the same. It's just, you know, my stuff is not scripted or anything. I just start talking and whatever comes out, comes out. So I'm kind of happy with like the way, you know, everything I recorded. I'm kind of happy with what I said and all that. I don't think I'm not gonna get it the same again. So I think I'm better off just doing a voiceover. I don't know. I have to think about that. But I don't know if I'm going to record this today. I might scrap the whole idea and finish recording another day because now I've spent like way too long already on this. So, all right, let's take a look. Oh, this is not even the right bag. All right, so here it is. This is the right one. I mean, this whole thing about the microphone, it threw me completely for a loop. Man. All right, what do we have? Pomegranate. Pomegranate. Okay, you know, yeah, definitely. Pomegranate, I could see that. Pomegranates are somewhat citrusy, tartness. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get on board with that right away. Pomegranate, lemonade, and plum. Okay, the plum, I'm not getting at all. But the lemonade, the citrus note for sure. You know, this is great descriptors. The other one with the whole bubble gum thing, I have no clue. I have no idea how they came up with that. But this one I'm getting entirely on board. The plum, sure, plums are sweet. I could see it. It's not what I would have said. I would have gone with some kind of, like a sweeter kind of citrus. But what they put on here, you know, pomegranate, lemonade, yeah, for sure. Wow, very good descriptors. I think I did fairly well. Again, this coffee tastes, to me, I mean, at least on my initial kind of very first impressions of it, I say it's way different than the other one. This coffee is way different than the Ethiopian. Well, I'll report back. But you know what? This video is already gonna get like way too long. I've chit-chatted way too much. I'm gonna have to include clips from the show, which always takes me kind of long to find them and edit them and get them in there. And now this whole thing about the having to voice over the first 5-6 minutes of the video is kind of a bummer. But you know what? Come back next week, because definitely the next thing I'm gonna record and the next video you're gonna see is me trying that espresso, that Brazilian that I brought back from downtown Winter Garden. You know, it was a great experience at that little coffee shop. I'll show you guys. They have, wow, on a little strip of 3-4 blocks, there's like 8 coffee shops. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And I wish I had the time to go and try all of them. They all looked equally, you know, wonderful. So one of them had an awesome bakery. You know, I'll show you guys more of that next week. Okay, so, but anyway, thank you for spending the time here with me today. I think I did pretty good with the tasting notes, right? And, you know, come back next week for more of this madness over here. We'll do the espresso. I can't wait to see if those tasting notes really live up to what they're saying there on the bag. But if it does, it's going to be pretty wonderful. Anyway, cheers, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.